This card is something special. It's called Mom's Kindness. It seemingly just makes you draw 2 cards, but this is the first time ever in Generation 4 of Pokemon when this happened. That's Dawn back there, player character of Pokemon Diamond and Pearl. Never before had the player appeared on a card. Now, an argument can be made that May actually took this record 5 years earlier, appearing on a Torchic card, then later becoming the owner of a lovely Munchlax and an evolved Combuskin. This is May from the anime. She's different. Because if we start counting anime, this is Red. I don't think any of us want to be calling Ash Red. Similarly, we can't count Dawn's Baniri or Dawn's Piplup because this is Anime Dawn, who has bluer hair and a shorter scarf. The next time a Pokemon protagonist would actually appear on a card, you'll never be able to guess this. It was Nate from Black and White 2, who we see about a third of his body on Samurott from Legendary Treasures, printed 5 years later. I think this one only managed to sneak in by being the very last set of a generation. They always get a little more experimental with their artwork in those. It would be another 5 years till Red finally showed up, in this Japan-exclusive card made for the 20th anniversary of Pokemon Center stores. They still only trucked him out for the special event. But 2019 would open the floodgates for the first time ever with Sun and Moon's Unbroken Bonds. Red's challenge finally got printed using his Let's Go design. He was technically an enemy trainer in those games since you play as Chase or Elaine, but I'm counting it. This is the protagonist of Pokemon's first generation actually appearing on cards. Cosmic Eclipse is where they really started easing up though. We received Rosa, the protagonist from Black and White 2, on a card simply named after herself. The Sky Arrow Bridge is kind of a weird choice of setting since this is a post-game location in Black and White 2. Still cool. Dawn made a proper appearance on a card not dedicated to her mom, teaming up with Piplup as her TCG approved starter. She's got the long scarf though. This is Game Dawn. Red meanwhile joins a tag team card with his rival Blue, who isn't a pro tag but is still a character we hadn't seen before this era. We also got Red picking up his iconic partner Pikachu in Pokemon Yellow version, which is an interesting choice, as a Japan exclusive printing of Red's challenge from Tag All-Stars, their Cosmic Eclipse equivalent, features Red with the canon starter choice of Bulbasaur. This is consistent with Pokemon Let's Go and the manga, which is where Green comes from. Sorta. You can make the argument that her cards count as protagonist cards, cause she and Leaf, who comes from the Kanto remakes, are the same person in the manga, and the two of them have never been in the same game together. Pokemon Masters only has Leaf, Pokemon Unite only used Green. I don't know! It wasn't until over halfway into Sword and Shield's era that we got our next pro tag cards in Brilliant Stars. Gloria, the female player of Gen 8, got a normal and full art to show her off. The first time a protagonist got a card with their name during their generation. All bets are off. She also appeared on both Single Strike Urshifu V and Single Strike Urshifu VMAX, training it up as a representative of Gen 8's DLC. Friends and Galar got a normal art printing with both her and the male main character, Victor. In the next set, Astral Radiance, Victor would appear on 2 Shadow Rider Calyrex cards, showing off Sword and Shield's second DLC story, A Balance to Gloria's cards. He also popped up on Galarian Articuno V. Gloria got Galarian Moltres V to equalize the numbers, and Sonia picked up the last one because Pokemon hasn't unlocked the secret third gender yet. Pokemon Legends Arceus released not too long before this set, putting its pro tags Akari and Ray in the background of 2 regular old Pokemon cards. These 2 are complicated though, because Ray and Akari are only their names when they're not the pro tags. They get your name when you're playing as them. So if a card ever did name them, it wouldn't be the pro tag versions. And also some very correct people just think that they're Dawn and Lucas when in pro tag form. Astral Radiance also has trekking shoes. Bulbapedia wanted me to know that these might be the female Sun and Moon player character's shoes. 1, they're not. 2, why are you looking at her shoes so hard? Pokemon Go is the next set, and this not to is the weirdest case because that is a Pokemon Go player right there. I don't know if this should count. Anyone can be the main character of Pokemon Go. Do the legs on Pikachu's card count? Actually, while we're doing spin-offs, Rattata from Pokemon Rumble should count because that's the first Pokemon you play as in that game, and Japan got Rescue Dungeon DX's Pikachu to celebrate Mystery Dungeon coming out on Switch. So that's the player character too. I just like that Spike Chunsoft is the illustrator on this one. The Danganronpa people are credited on a Pokemon card. Back on task, Lost Origin right after the Pokemon Go set brought back Red for Pikachu V, using his Fire Red design. Except for this time, he learned to make it freaking huge. Unnamed Isekai Lady from Legends Arceus is back snoozing with a Pikachu of her own in one of my personal favorite arts of all time. Probably Isekai Lucas is hanging out with a Hisuian Arcanine, though it's not quite big enough to be the noble one. And the next set, Silver Tempest, brings Celine out of nowhere, her Sun and Moon 1 design, and it gives her Zeraora. Sure, fine, I guess we're just doing whatever. They show some favoritism towards Rosa, letting her bike around the Unova countryside with Superior. Good on them giving us another canonical starter. And May finally gets some cards that use her game design, training her starter of Blaziken. Till it suddenly Dynamaxes, and I don't think we're seeing May anymore, guys. This does not look good. Friends and Galar also gets a new full art print, another appearance for both Victor and Gloria. Gloria is gay. You're not allowed to fight me on this one. Just look at them. They are gay. Hop and Beat are also gay. Victor's just happy to get out of the house. Silver Tempest still isn't done because we got Serena with her very own trainer. First time we've seen a Kalos pro tag. She comes in full art and rainbow art variations. The only player character to get a rainbow art. Then if that wasn't enough, her Breakson is here. She bought it a hat with ear holes. That's adorable. Look at its little paws. But Crown Zenith is luckily a little less eventful. Friends in Hisui gives us 2 more cards for the Isekai crew, though we gotta remember only one of them can be Isekai'd at once, so one of these characters was already in the past and isn't the pro tag on each card. And Friends in Sinnoh gives us our first guaranteed authentic Lucas appearance alongside another for Dawn. Why is Volkner here? One word, Lux Chomp. It's a joke about Volkner's Luxray and Cynthia's Garchomp being in a deck together 15 years earlier. Really weird reference to make. You may have noticed a lot of these Friends in cards have popped up on the list. So what about Friends in Alola? Oddly enough, neither Celine nor Elio is on that bad boy, so it does not apply here. Friends in Paldea does, though, from the Prismatic Evolution set a ways into the Scarlet Violet era. This one features Juliana and Florian, which has to break some laws of nature, them existing at the same time. Don't worry though, the pace is about to pick up again. Ethan, who's been sitting pretty with no cards for a while now, just decided to have an entire archetype dedicated to him, so there's a lot of Ethan cards from Destined Rivals that just have his face chilling in the corner. If you want him included in the artwork though, you got Ethan's Adventure, regular, full art, and special illustration rare. Ethan's Ho-Oh full art, Ethan's Ho-Oh special illustration, Ethan's Ho-Oh gold art, and Ethan's Typhlosion illustration rare. I still think his name should be gold, his rival is literally silver. Oh yeah, and he'll get another one later. Hilda's in the White Flare set. She got a nice trio between the normal, full art, and special illustration rares where she toes Tepig. Can't believe a character so peak made such a bad choice. And that brings us into the Mega Evolution era, where Phantasmal Flames gave us Dawn, with all 3 of the expected variations of card, though I'm most partial to the full art. And Perfect Origin has the latest protagonist. You know her, you love her, super relevant to the franchise right now, Harmony from Legends ZA, Rosa Y! She's taken seconds on her supporter before some people have one. Brendan has nothing! What about Brendan? Well, TCG Pocket has its own set of pro tags, so let's run through those real quick. They use Leaf for the first time rather than reusing Green, have their own set of Dawn cards unrelated to the physical card game, have a red supporter using his Kanto remake design, Lyra makes her first appearance to balance out Ethan in the real deal, Chris was found dead in Miami. May has a named card as an upgrade from her cardboard cameos. Serena gets a pocket card that's quite a step up in aesthetics. Sure, make her transgender, I guess. Whatever. Arvin's Immersive Art has the smallest cameo from Juliana. She would later get her own card, brimming with energy. And Callum finally got his time in the spotlight here in TCG Pocket. Leaving our total pro tags who don't yet have cards to Chris from Pokemon Crystal, Brendan from the Hoenn games, Hilbert from Black and White, Elio from Sun and Moon, Chase and Elaine from Let's Go Pikachu and Eevee, and Paxton and Harmony from Legends ZA. Also, Ethan is technically the first pro tag ever referenced in a card, because Copycat's been stealing his drip for years. Thanks so much for watching. You should click on another video right now. Look, it really wants you to click on that video. Are you gonna not do that when it wants you to do it so bad? Or press subscribe.